Hello there and welcome to this week's vlog. It's Friday the 1st of March, so spring has officially sprung, and I'm going to start today by clearing out the last remaining brassica bed. There's a few in there but they're looking a little bit worse for wear, so I'm going to clear them out and then that'll make some room for me to sow some carrots and parsnips in one of the beds. I'm also going to be making an EnviroMesh cover to sit over the top of the bed to protect it from carrot root fly. So let's have a quick measure up and we'll get the bed ready. I'm going to be using these two beds here for my carrots and parsnips. I want to grow quite a lot of carrots this year. It's one of the vegetables that we probably eat the most of. As you can see, they haven't really fared very well over the winter. Some of them are just showing signs of leaping back into life, but others are going to have to come out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out all the ones that don't look like they're going to do anything, take all the dead leaves off, and then I'm just going to top the bed up with some fresh compost ready for sowing. I'll either get the carrots sown tomorrow or possibly next week if I don't have enough time, depending on the weather, because at the moment we're still experiencing a lot of rain and frosts. So yeah, I'll just take out the dead and dying, and then we'll have a look how it looks like that. That's the cabbages. They didn't look like they were going to do much. Taken out. I've taken all the dead leaves off what's left, and now I'm just going to hand weed, and then I'm going to lay the compost on top. I want these to be sort of no dig beds, so I don't want to disturb the soil too much. Just pull out any of the larger weeds, and then get a couple of barrows of compost on top. That was easy enough to do, and it really does make a difference spreading the fresh compost on top. So I'm going to cover it back over just to keep the pigeons off the last of the brassicas. And tomorrow, hopefully, me and a few of the other plot holders have arranged for a delivery of wood chip. So what we're doing tomorrow is I'll be raking up all this wood chip, sieving it, and then hopefully I can put the decent stuff into the compost. Welcome back. It's Saturday morning. It's currently 4 degrees and it's literally just stopped raining about 2 minutes ago. The wood chip delivery has been postponed until tomorrow. I've got a feeling the guy didn't want to get soaking wet unloading it. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to clear off all the old wood chip, put it into the wheelbarrow, take it into the polytunnel and sieve it out because it's a bit too wet to do anything on the plots today. So just going to keep busy by doing that. Just a little progress check. I've done the majority of the main walkway, and it's quite thick. It's probably about an inch thick. You can see it was the same level as the slabs, and I've still got this area to do, but I very quickly filled the wheelbarrow, and so I'll show you what I've been doing with the rotted wood chip. So what I've done is I'm just bringing it in the trugs. I'm just using it as a mulch to top up these beds. I got sort of halfway down. I've still got that section to do, and then I shall do this section up here, and hopefully it's rotted down enough that it's not going to cause any problems to the soil. I have to get rid of him though, and him. Yeah, so we're progressing nicely. As normal, I've severely underestimated how long these projects are going to take. So it's taken me about an hour to clear that small section, and I've still got all those to go. So this is going to be a slightly more long-term project than I thought, but the polytunnel's looking good. I'll just take you in there and show you. As everything's had about maybe a 2-inch layer of the wood chip mulch. I've pulled out the weeds as I've gone. There's not many, but if you get on top of them before they really get going, it makes your life a lot easier later on down the road. Good afternoon, it's Sunday the 3rd of March and I'm just popped down. I'm going to direct sow some seeds into one of the beds today, and then I'm going to take some seed compost home with me. And I've got plenty of seeds that I'm going to start off at home. So just for now, we're going to have a look what we're going to be putting directly into the beds, and then when we get home later, we'll have a look at the seeds we're going to be sowing into the heated Super 7 propagators. So I've got all my seed boxes out, and there's 5 to go there. So most of these are going to get planted this month, but they're not all going to get planted today because there's far too many. So what I'm going to be doing is some Autumn King extra long. They're going to go into the raised long planter and then directly into the bed. I've got some early Nance carrot, turnip golden ball, turnip top white globe, cylindra beetroot, and some parsnips tender and true. And I might put a row of spring onions in just to see how they get on. So I'm just going to go outside now and prepare the beds, and then we'll get the seeds sown. It's a little bit noisy today, there's lots of traffic around, but it's not going to stop me. What I've done is I've just put in 4 drills, roughly 4 inches apart, and I'm going to finally sow the Autumn King extra long into here. And you can see there the carrots that I sowed a few weeks ago have just started to germinate, so this should give me a good succession. As you can see, it's a good long planter, so hopefully I should get some results similar to what I had last year. So I've got the seeds in as fine as I can. I'm a little bit heavy handed, but they're spread out reasonably well, and then all I'll do as they grow, I'll just thin them out as required. So I'm just going to fill over the top with the soil and then put the Perspex top back on. I don't need to water them really because the soil's quite moist already. And then hopefully in a few weeks time we should start seeing the shoots popping through as they are on this planter here. I've also got some garlic in here, but I'm not sure if I want to keep that really. I think I'd rather have the bed. I'll just top it up with some compost. I'd rather have it to put either more carrots or some parsnips in, some long rooted vegetables. I've got plenty of garlic in the polytunnel, so I don't need to worry about having too much more. But I'll make a decision on that over the next couple of weeks. So I forgot to bring the tripod down with me today, so I'm just going to film what I'm doing. So what I'm doing is I'm going about 7 or 8 inches down into the ground, giving it a good turn, and that's roughly the shape of the parsnip that I'm after. So now if I fill that hole with fresh compost, there shouldn't be anything in the way of the taproot going down, so it should give me a nice sized parsnip. So I'll probably get 6 or 7 across this row, so maybe I'll do 2 rows of 7. So as I say, as I haven't got the tripod, I'll just get on with it, get the holes put in, and then fill it up with the sieved compost. So after the second hole, the dibber snapped, so I've brought in reinforcements. This is an old off an old hoe, and you can see this is what the soil's like that we're dealing with here. It's high clay content. So what I'm doing is just take that as best I can. Just making a really good sized hole. Oh, sorry, there we go. Making a good sized hole. Pulling as much soil out as I can. And then I shall fill those with sieve compost and put 2 or 3 seeds into each hole, and I think the worms are loving it. There's plenty of worms in this soil. Yeah, so I've got 5. I've only managed to get 5. And I'm going to be sowing some more into the raised planter anyway, so I'm not too worried. Right, so just get the sieve compost in there and go from there. So we've got the holes and we've got the compost, and then literally just gently pour it in. We don't want to compact it. We want the taproot from the parsnip to be able to find its way down with no resistance. So I've just popped 4 seeds into each of the holes, and now I'm going to cover it over with some more compost and give them a little bit of water, but at no point am I putting any pressure on the compost that I've just put in the hole, so hopefully there shouldn't be anything stopping that taproot. Right then, so I'm going to finish the weekend off with sowing a few seeds. I'm going to do some flowers to start with. So I've got some dahlia, lavateria, hollyhock and cornflower. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sow half a tray of each, and then obviously in a couple of weeks time I'll have to prick them out and so pop them on. Right, so I went to the allotment shop yesterday and bought some vermiculite. I've never used it before, but I've seen a lot of people putting it over the top of their seeds. So I thought, well, why not give it a go? So if we can do it without making a right mess, I very much doubt it. Not sure if it's meant to be this coarse. I think the reason behind it is because it's so light, it's easy for the seedlings to push through. Right, I think that's enough. Then I'll just give it a spray over. Right, so the last thing I'm going to sow are the alderman pea. I grew these last year and they did really well. I'm not going to bother putting them in gutters. I did it last year and it was a little bit of a faff, to be honest. I'm just going to put 2 or 3 into each cell and then push them in. There's not a huge amount left in the packet. Don't worry about that one. So I've got 4 or 5 per cell, and all I'm going to do is literally push them in. Right then, so that's the peas done, and what I'm going to do now is take them outside, give them a watering, and then I'm going to put them into the new lean-to greenhouse, and they can stay in there until they germinate. to just get that done now, and then we'll once they're in, we'll have a look at what's going on in the lean-to greenhouse, and then we'll call it a day. So we'll finish off with a quick look in the lean-to greenhouse, which is doing a fabulous job. So I've got some calabrese and snowball cauliflower there. These are the Utah giant onions. I've only got one spinach through and a few graham cabbage. These are the rest of the onions. These are the brassicas that I sowed 2 weeks ago. Same again here. I've had nothing germination on some of them, and others are doing really well, so I'll have to pot them on next week. More onions. There's the broad beans, and there's the peas that we've just sown. I've put them next to the tube heater, so they just get that little bit extra heat. I've also got a plastic sheet, so what I'll do at night is I'll pull the sheet up, I just tuck it into the gaps between the roof and the roof beam, and it just holds it in place, and it just keeps the temperature just 1 or 2 degrees warmer. When I come in most mornings, it's normally sort of 4 or 5 degrees in here, which I think is perfect. It's not really too hot. And I'm also getting a fan that I'm going to mount up on the wall here, just to give it a little bit of breeze on hot days, because it was up to 20 degrees in here today, and it was only sort of 7 or 8 degrees outside, but as soon as the sun gets on it, it warms up really quickly. I've also put the onions that I'm growing for seed, just dropped them in some water. They were drying out a little bit. So it's all looking good. So that's all we've got time for this week. I'd just like to say thank you for everyone who's watched, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I shall hopefully see you again next week. Thank you very much, and goodbye.